Well, good morning, everybody, and it's a warm one indeed, certainly here at Paul Ricard this weekend. Welcome back to the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine yet again. After a busy race yesterday and a busy qualifying session as well, we go racing once again, and it will feature Alessandro Giusti looking to come back after winning yesterday's race on top of claiming the overall pole in absolutely clinical style, and it certainly was a great display from the young man, the French F4 champion, who steps up here in the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine, and with hopes, I'm sure, of perhaps repeating the same feat again. But as we know, as we have the group system that actively is in place here in this championship, two groups will head out. Group B going out first this time, obviously a mirrored scenario from yesterday morning's qualifying session, where Group A would head out first. This time it's the turn of Group B to head out first on this occasion. Basically, this allows the fairness to be applied across both sides of the plate. Certainly both groups getting their chance to have a warmer track when it comes to qualifying, and naturally Group A will benefit of having a preheated track off the back of Group B running first at this stage. Naturally though, we're going to be witnessing, I'm sure, very competitive action. We did in fact have some penalties as well distributed, of course, this time going to Enzo Scianti after the collision with Niels Kuhlen. He was deemed to be at fault in that exchange and given a 5-place grid penalty as we head into racing action this afternoon. Emerson Fittipaldi was also reprimanded for the collision with Charlie Burns as well. The steward's taken a dim view on that one, but does return nonetheless, and either way he's going to have to try and re-challenge this time around. It certainly was a stellar showing as well for the likes of Sami Megatuniv, who is now featuring here in this group as well in Group B. Of course, you could see him there donning the black nose cone that MP Motorsport are bringing to the table in remembrance of Delano van 't Hoff, their driver that they lost after the race at Spa-Francorchamps. It's great to have them back. They missed Mugello, obviously, with Delano van 't Hoff's funeral coming up the Tuesday after that, where the FIA president would also make an appearance as well, giving a speech. It really was a touching affair, and the family was so strong as well, and we do wish them our very best too. As we now see the cars now getting ready and set, Tom Leben will also be looking for an upturn in his fortunes. The Arden team have been working hard to try and gather themselves. They're generally a competitive outfit that have been at the helm of feeder series racing and certainly have developed many of the stars of the future, much like ART as well. Pierre-Alexandre Provost as well stepping in for G4 Racing this weekend. He, of course, featuring as well a French F4 race winner, only 6 months in karting before getting promoted into single-seater racing action, having 2 seasons in French F4, but having a successful winter test program with G4 Racing, and that certainly convinced Adrian Munoz to sign him up and bring him into the fold this season. We'll have to wait and see what he can deliver. Had a tricky day yesterday, but it's all about learning. There is Alessandro Giusti, yesterday's race winner, and taking pole as well. It certainly was a stellar showing from the young man as well, and has been on the rise as well. He would have probably wanted a little bit more out of the commencement of his time in Formula Regional. But coming off the back of being a French F4 champion, that is no mean feat, and you'd expect him to go close here once again at Paul Ricard. Other names to look out for as well: Joshua Dirksen, who secured his first podium of the season at the Spa-Francorchamps round. Of course, be looking to try and bounce back after a tricky time at Mugello, where he went off in the gravel trap, heading around the final corner on the final lap, and looking to try and recover this time around. Andrea Kimi Antonelli also back this time, and here in Group B. Prema outfit looking to once again chase for race wins. They didn't have it their own way yesterday. Rafael Camara also having to fight his way back up the field. Lorenzo Flusha doing exactly the same. He was also in the midst of a huge scrap in the midfield placings, but Kimi, who certainly was challenging that of the likes of Kaz Havercourt as well up at the sharp end, as well as many others. Kaz Havercourt will also himself in his group will be looking to marshal an improvement as well. Santiago Ramos also comes back here in this Group B in qualifying 2 after being the fastest man in collective test 1, setting a 1:59.744, and will no doubt be looking to chase for something a little extra. Michael Belloff featuring as well. Giusti goes to the top, immediately taken away by Pierre-Alexandre Provost now as the times start to come in. The initial runs, not necessarily the ones that are representative in terms of what the session will be. Of course, the times that we can expect are around the 1:59s. Martinius Stenshorn, of course, who set the first time yesterday as Group A went out first. He set a 1:59.176. That would be his fastest lap. That was very quickly surpassed by Alessandro Giusti. As we now see the cars, they make their way through the first sector. 9 minutes and 15 to go in the session, and that will conclude then after that the Group B session. Andrea Kimi Antonelli now going to the top with a 2:15.752. And that's 58 thousandths faster than teammate Lorenzo Flusha, who's in second now, with Lucas Medina in third place. Emerson Fittipaldi Jr. in fourth fastest, and that goes just under 0.6 of a second slower than that. But Lucas Medina setting a purple first sector already, so he's not waiting around, hitting the big numbers. Sami Megatunif as well, purple in the second sector here at this point. As we take a look at Michael Belov, who makes his way out to the chicane now and through the second half of the Mistral straight. Just getting the tyres warmed up as well, the Pirelli rubber that they have underneath them here this time around. A few championships donning that grade of rubber this weekend as well. As we see Belov now hightail through this next right-hander before they're meeting the Bousset section. Opportunities for overtakes here around this track are aplenty here in this series, certainly given the fact as well that they have the push-to-pass system at their disposal. It's up to them to use it effectively as well. Megatunif fastest now at this point, 2:11.657. They are steadily declining now in the times. Do expect them to break into the 1:59s, maybe even could possibly be the early 2s, but 2:11s at least for now are where we sit. Still got plenty of time left in the session though, 7 minutes and 50. Middle sector fastest once again, this time from Alessandro Giusti, who certainly favours this track. Home race win certainly would mean a lot to him. Much to the delight of the crowds, they did have a French 1-2 as Giusti goes fastest. Pierre-Alexandre Prevost in his first weekend goes second fastest as well, breaking into the 2:09s. Half a second behind his fellow countryman Giusti, who set purple in the last 2 sectors. Kaz Havercourt, though, setting the initial purple sector with a 34.864 in sector 1, 38.284 in sector 2. So Kaz Havercourt for Van Amersfoort currently in 4th place. 24 thousandths off that of Sami Megatunif in 3rd, as Flusha goes to the top with a 2:08.782. Giusti finding an almighty 2.8 seconds, as well as the time start to come cascading down. Havercourt still holding that purple middle sector, but Giusti, purple first sector already, 32.986 here from the young Frenchman, as he now heads through now towards the Mistral chicane. Needs to pinpoint himself now right through this very tight and very tricky section. Very easy to get it so wrong as well, but powering out looks to, certainly doesn't faze the young man, as he now hurtles through now down towards the next right, 3.7 now up, as he looks to try and go purple again, does so in that middle sector. Lorenzo Flusha taking the purple first sector time. Michael Belov, purple in the middle sector, 36.996 as well, so stealing that away from Giusti, but Giusti's time still a decent improvement. Of course, already setting a time that's a 2:09.056. This could very easily reach the 2:05s, maybe even something more as well, as he now makes his way through the very tricky sections. This is where he gets technical. Turn 13 at Garlaban into Delatour Bend now. You can see him just hooking it around this next left-hander. 4 seconds up already, and indeed this could touch the 1:05s. The 2:05s at this point, heading around turn 15. And a Virage Dupont, he has got the line coming up dead ahead of him here with 5 minutes and 40 still to go. Where does this put Giusti? He does go to the top with a 2 flat. Great time already being set, getting closer to Martinius Denshorn's time and his own time from yesterday's qualifying stellar performance. Lorenzo Flusha, who's purple in the first 2 sectors as well, looking strong. Belov goes fastest of anybody in the 2:00.125s, 14 thousandths faster than Alessandro Giusti. Purple in the second sector from Kaz Havercourt, 36.815. And this will certainly improve on his 2:06.013 as Tom Leben goes third fastest as well, ahead of Emerson Fittipaldi Jr., who's 4th currently on screen, as we're seeing Flusha now go to the top with a 1:59.834, more like the times we saw yesterday as well, as we creep below the 2-second mark. His teammate Andrea Kimi Antonelli also going third fastest now, because Lawrence Van Hoopen goes fastest of all now here, 1:59.734 for the Dutchman, who has Nick de Vries in his corner this weekend. He is here at the track, certainly aiding that of Lawrence Van Hoopen this weekend. And maybe it's starting to rub off on the young man as well. A tenth of a second faster. Kaz Havercourt goes second fastest as well. Purple sector's flying everywhere as Flusha finds a 32.6, and now that's immediately stolen. Should I say a 32.7 for Flusha. Antonelli taking a 32.6. Middle sector is purple for GST as well. A very busy session here with 4 minutes still to go. The time to beat is a 59.734. GST will very shortly be making his way through the final corners as well, because he is already set times in the first and second sectors, 36.783, enough to give him that purple second sector. And Antonelli as well finding more time as well. Flusha also stealing the purple away from GST in sector 2. Antonelli, the current Italian F4 champion, and also very successful in the Middle East, ADAC F4 champion as well. As now GST goes fastest, 49.9 in the final sector, grants him a 59.574. And now Belov goes fastest in the third sector, enlists a 159.672 to go second fastest. Joshua Dirksen, third fastest, he joins the fight as well. 50 thousandths of a second, half a tenth in behind Belov as well. Kaz Havercourt, purple in the middle sector as well. He's going to look to try and launch himself higher up the order. Here comes Andrea Kimi Antonelli as well. Purple in that first sector, it hasn't been taken from him. Green improving in that middle sector as well. Antonelli going for the top. Can he grasp it? He can! Antonelli with a 159.398. Getting closer and closer to Stenchon's lap from yesterday, as well as GST's as well. But a first purple sector certainly helps him along now as well. Lawrence van Hoopen still with the purple third sector as well. Kaz Havercourt in sector 2, 36.674 to his name, with a 159.814. The top 9 all in the 159s now, as the likes of Tom Levin, Charlie Wirtz on his return as well. Kaz Havercourt goes second now with that 159.512. Lawrence van Hoopen, as I said, still retaining that purple third sector, but down to fifth fastest as Flusha has jumped him into P4. Giusti still in third as well. Josh Dirksen out on a lap as well, not quite improving on his previous best. So this is where the drivers will look to try and cool the tyres perhaps before they set one final last gasp run. But Antonelli, with a great showing already here in Group B. Still a competitive lap. Temperatures do vary here at Paul Ricard quite some bit. Obviously, we've had the day starting with 20 or so degrees in temperature. Eventually, that then meets 30 to 35 degrees in temperature, which gets the cockpits ever so warm. And certainly when the drivers go racing, they have to battle with that high degree level of heat now, as we see Michael Belov make his way through the final corner out of turn 15. He's got Alessandro Giusti dead ahead of him here as well, as the cars, they make their way down the stretch now. These two G4 Racing members as well, of course, featuring with their entire 3-car lineup here in Group B. P. Alexandre Provost currently sitting in 15th fastest, just ahead of Lucas Medina by just over 1.5 tenths of a second. 34.730 in the first sector for Kaz Havercourt, 37.517, not quite the improvement he'll look to marshal at this point. But still, with 59 seconds to go, a chance now for these drivers to look to find more times, and GST has improved as well. But Belov setting his fastest first sector, and the fastest first sector at 32.644. 42 thousandths faster than his teammate Giusti in that first sector. Looking further down, Josh Dirksen improving in the first sector as well. Getting closer and closer, Tom Levin, 32.849. As the timer ticks down to the final 30 seconds, Giusti will look to try and marshal a real high, intense and certainly fast-paced sector 2 time. Belov, 32.644, as I said, in that first sector, still grants him the purple first sector, 36.891 now. And that time Giusti was faster in sector 2, but Kimi Antonelli taking 32.451 and a purple first sector for him as we hear a squeal. Belov, oh, big moment for Belov. Heading through the Bousset section, and that could cost him an awful lot of time. He's on the limit, heading through that final sector. And that could certainly upset his prospects here at the end of qualifying. Kimi Antonelli, 32.451 in the first sector, and looking really strong with that purple first sector indeed. Now as we see the cars make their way down the straight, Belov How much has that upset him through Bousset as he heads up towards the line? Alessandro Giusti goes fastest immediately, and his teammates right behind him. Up goes Belov. Does he, or does he lose out? He lost out by a gargantuan half a second, which is certainly a lot in these cars, but Giusti to the top with a stellar 1:59.238. But what about Andrea Kimi Antonelli, who's still in second? He's yet to cross the line. He's purple in the first sector. Kaz Havercourt taking the purple second sector as well. It's getting really tight here at the end of the timer tick to 0, and certainly Group B very close in contention. Antonelli fighting with the car as he now makes his way out to the final bend at turn 15. His teammate dead ahead of him as well as they make their way up towards the line. Andrea Kimi Antonelli comes up towards the line, fastest with a 1:59 flat, 1:3 as well. Incredible stuff as Kaz Havercourt, who we haven't seen cross the line yet either, he's coming through the dying stages, 36.638 in the middle sector. What else has he got to answer at this point? He's a little bit off. Second fastest though for the Van Amersfoort car. Incredible. What a massive display from Andrea Kimi Antonelli. And where we saw Martini Stenshorn go fastest in the first group in yesterday's qualifying, Antonelli has beaten his time by over 1.5 tenths of a second and has gone and placed it on top, and the Italian is back. Back to the top for Prema, who had one of their more tougher days yesterday, and it's on them to try and rein it in. Prema, of course, have a reasonable record in this championship city here in this circuit as well. Paul Aron was a race winner last season, and years before they've dominated with the likes of Arthur Leclerc, Gianluca Petikov, but Andrea Kimi Antonelli is your fastest man in Group B. Kaz Havercourt second, and then of course you have Alessandro Giusti third, Santiago Ramos fourth, Lawrence Van Hoopen fifth with Joshua Dirksen sixth, Lorenzo Flusha in seventh with Michael Belov eighth, Sami Megatunif in ninth, Marcus Amand in 10th, Tom Leben in 11th with Emerson Fittipaldi Jr. in 12th, Charlie Wirtz 13th, Lucas Medina 14th, Levente Ravesh in 15th place. So there we have it, a 1:59.013 to beat. And it's Andrea Kimi Antonelli, everybody, and alluding back to that Prema record. Levente Ravesh finishing in 15th, as we said. Pierre-Alexandre Provost in his home race and first weekend in the championship, down in 16th place. But going back to Prema, Frederick Vesti as well would also put his name up to the top. Enzo Fittipaldi also taking a Race 2 win back in 2019, as well as Vesti taking the Race 3 win that same season. And all three of them would also win the rookie classification as well. Still highest rookie though, Alessandro Giusti, another pleasing performance in this Group B. No doubt would have wanted that little bit more, but Prema back and fighting once again and chasing the big results. Kaz Havercourt certainly being one of them too, but there is Giusti, third fastest out in this conglomerate. Just in front of him, the Dutchman Kaz Havercourt for the Van Amersfoort team. Ever the consistent, the steady hand in behind the wheel of a car, Kaz Havercourt. But Andrea Kimi Antonelli shining once again, this time at Paul Ricard, and now leaves it to his championship contender, Martini Stenshorn, to answer the battle, to answer the call. Is he going to respond in kind as well? But Andrea Kimi Antonelli will be delighted. Another great performance from the young man. A bright future, part of the Mercedes Driver Academy. And as I said already, twice an F4 champion in ADAC and also in Italian F4 to boot. But coming back here, and could be on the precipice of securing his third pole position of the season, but needs to await Group A's performance to see whether he has achieved that. And going off yesterday's form, the second group did have the benefits that allowed them to go faster with the heated track. So watch this space, ladies and gentlemen, as we look to get started for this one. Martini Stenshorn, there you can see him on your screen, folks. Current championship leader coming into the weekend. Our Race GP have been very strong here, and certainly in their home race, they'll want to do themselves proud. And Stenshorn, who didn't have the best of starts yesterday at the beginning of the race. Thumbs up from Andrea Kimi Antonelli. He's done everything he can at this point, and a warm reception there from his team at Mercedes too. As he strides down the pit lane, Tim Tramnitz there as well, looking on. He'll be looking for an improved performance. Was kept largely in 4th place yesterday as he looked to keep Andrea Kimi Antonelli at bay, but we're now going to commence Group A here in qualifying 2, folks, as the timer now starts ticking. And we will be bringing you yet more action here in qualifying. This will decide whether it will be Andrea Kimi Antonelli on pole or if it'll be another driver here as part of this conglomerate here in Group A. We'll soon find out. Stenshorn chasing what could yet be, in his own right, a 4th pole position this season. Can he achieve that? Another man to watch as well, though, is Esteban Masson, who was fastest in collective test 2. And of course, Santalot Racing Team will be looking to call upon this young man, who has certainly been brilliant. And Santalot is definitely a team on the up. They've been working hard to develop the car. Antonelli just having a debrief with his team at Prema. Going back to Santalot Racing, a team prominent in the realm of GT3 prototypes, as well as various other avenues of racing, and have now since come to roost here in single-seaters as well. Great to have them here, and such a big name here in this championship. And we look forward to seeing what they can achieve with a great roster of drivers, obviously having the likes of Emerson Fittipaldi Jr., as well as having Lucas Medina, Esteban Masson, as I said, who has been a real standout figure, competed in French F4 3 years consecutively, became champion of that series in 2021. That year, taking 6 wins and 9 poles, 10 podiums. What about this young lady as well, Maya Verk, who has been an absolute sensation this season as well for Kick Motorsport. And we got a chance to speak to the team boss at Kick as well earlier on in the weekend. Of course, the team governing it, obviously Petri Lapalainen, and we did of course see see the team go on to contest this season with the likes of Maya Verk. And unfortunately coming unstuck at Mugello when her fire extinguisher unfortunately went off during the course of the race, and she had to pull it into the gravel trap, which was a real shame because she was on a really good run with brilliant results. But she'll be back fighting, to say the least, certainly off the back of yesterday's performance, where she would try and challenge up at the sharp end. But we also incidentally spoke to the Kick Motorsport team boss, Peter Flintstrom, as well, who was in the paddock, and we spoke to him as part of the Paddock Live, and he said that Mugello was done and dusted. They'd forgotten about it. Maya was back to full focus, and you know, the team are looking to persevere and move on and look to achieve greater results here this season, and certainly the trajectory they're on is certainly stellar and impressive. So you've got to keep your eyes peeled. And coming into this weekend, Maya Verk second in the rookie standings, in behind that of Martinia Stenshorn, which is very good company to be in as well. As we now look and see Martinia Stenshorn getting the tyres up to temperature. Leading rookie, leading overall in the championship. And the Norwegian will look to continue this feat. Ever a character, they have a great camaraderie in the RAce GP. Funny story, incidentally, I was up here commentating yesterday and there were 3 of them stood right behind me in the doorway. Of course, that being Matthias Zagazeta, Martinia Stenshorn, and that of Tim Tramnitz. Such characters, practical jokers, but also stern racers as well. And it's lovely to have them as part of this championship, and it's great to have RAce GP as part of this too. Produce some really extraordinary talents. Look at the likes of where they've gone since, and certainly Martinia Stenshorn to be on the shopping list of any team you can certainly imagine, especially given the fact that it's his rookie campaign as well. But now making his way down in towards the next chicane at Mistral, just getting the tyres up to temp, getting it prepped. Obviously, tends to be just after the 9-minute mark that we start seeing the proper times come in. We are seeing some of the purple sectors lighting up already, but these are the provisional laps as they look to get the heat into the Pirelli rubber. And And some interesting names to look at as well. And the RPM we've got to talk about after their recent run of form, 4th in the championship coming into the weekend. We see Matthias Zagazzetta. He's also looking to try and charge for an improved performance. Wears his heart on his sleeve and certainly looks to challenge to garner some improved results, to bring something back for his RHGP team. A wonderful young man that certainly deserves a lot more if he can just marshal the laps together. He will certainly challenge Joshua Dufek as well. Stern contender here for Van Amersfoort Racing. He's just seen Kaz Havercourt do some impressive work indeed. Josh Dufek himself coming off the back of 2 podiums in the Formula Regional Middle Eastern Championship earlier on this year. Competed in FRECA last season with 3 podiums as well with the Formula Regional Asian Championship. 2021 as well, he would go on to the ADAC F4, taking 4 podiums on that occasion. Italian F4 with 1 win and 5 podiums too. Spanish F4 the season previous in 2020, where he would go on to take 7 podiums and P4 in the championship. And there's Dufek making his way through the chicane section. Plenty of them here at Paul Ricard. We talk about the track itself. The first sector, 2 chicanes exist. I mean, you head through turn 1 and turn 2. It's a very fast-paced one. Indeed, you need to make sure you get yourself lined up with the tiger line and send it through back onto the throttle then for turns 3 and 4, where a lot of the drivers like to tackle that one aggressively, and then you enter turn 5. On the outset of that, you have sector 2 in towards turn 6. As we take a look at a slow-mo of Martin Stenshorn getting set for yet another stellar run. The time's now starting to come in. Enzo Scianti up at the sharp end, or 2:10.398. 36 thousandths ahead of Roman Belinsky in the Trident car. He's been working hard to try and galvanise that team and improve the performance. He's in good company as well. More times coming through. Victor Bernier purple in that second sector. Esteban Masson purple in the first sector, so finding a little bit too. Everyone improving at this point. As Niels Kuhlin goes 4th fastest. Not necessarily nestling in a major first and second sector, but taking purple with a 53.239 in sector 3. Kirill Small at the top now, ahead of Roman Belinsky. Enzo Scianti down to 3rd. The time's now at 2:08.662. That is the time to beat. Esteban Masson, as I said, 35 in the first sector. Kirill Small actually going fastest briefly, but Belinsky taking that away from him in the first sector. And we see the cars make their way through. Great to have the MP Motorsport team back as well. Victor Bernier behind the wheel of the car here in Group A. Of course, we just saw Sami Megatounev as well this weekend. Delivered a fantastic P2 performance for the team and commemorated it and sort of said that was for Delano Van 't Hoff. And the team treasure him majorly as Kirill Small makes his way down through towards the next section. Belinsky, who we're currently seeing on screen, purple in the first 2 sectors. So having a fantastic run so far. Has just lost the purple first sector to Rafael Camara, but still retains purple sector 2 status, at least for now. 5 seconds improvement, which could very easily make his way down towards the early 2s, the 2:03 at this point. Very quickly, I think we could find ourselves in the 2 flats, should he be able to harness a fantastic 3rd sector. Joshua Dufek takes the fastest 2nd sector as well. Tim Tramnitz now fastest in the 1st sector with a 32.760. As now Belinsky heads through the final bend at turn 15. And heading up towards the line, where's this going to put him? I'd imagine we're going to get close to the early 2s, maybe even an early 1:59. 2:00.806 was Kirill Small, but Belinsky trumps him with a 2:00.409. Taking that fastest latter sector, but there's more times to come through. As now, making his way on up now, is the MP Motorsport car. That, of course, belonging to that of Victor Bernier, who goes fastest of anybody there with a 50 flat in the final sector. More time still to come. There, of course, Rafael Camara, who has been rapid recently, ever improving. A podium successor as well as he makes his way up towards the line. Where's he going to go? Of course, coming up towards the line now, 16th fastest currently, but now moves his way up, without a doubt, goes first fastest with a 59, the first 159 of this group. A 159.710, just over 3/10 faster than Martini Stenshorn, who goes second fastest with a 2 flat. Tim Tramnitz now moves into second fastest ahead of his teammate. Breaks within that 3/10 of a second. Owen Tangavellu, who we're currently seeing on screen as well, 5th fastest. Just 2 spots ahead of his teammate Roman Belinsky, who's now in 6th, separated with that of Owen Tangavellu, who now actually gets dropped down 1, as we see Nikhil Bora, who was fastest in that first sector, but Rafael Camara has taken that privilege away. 32.599, and that is a very, very tasty first sector indeed at this point. Certainly 30 minutes and 55 to go. 159.710 to beat. Plenty of time for the track to heat up, and Graf will certainly give them plenty more options for big major laps, and a big moment there as well. Big moment indeed for Nikhil Bora, who's trying to give absolutely everything for Trident here this weekend, just coming out of Bousset, getting it slightly wrong, heading through that section. And while he was on a major improvement, and he is currently fastest in the speed trap as well, that will cost him a lot of time. The 32.687, which is an improvement on his previous best, 36.987 in the second sector, but goes 5th fastest regardless, but you can definitely find more. And here's the replay. Yeah, just got it a little bit wrong, but recovering well. Rafael Camara, though, look at this time, 36.801 already, and has found 4/10 in the second sector as well. Heads through turn 15, out to the Virage Dupont, and now makes his way down towards the line. Is he going to join Andrea Kimi Antonelli up at the sharp end? That is the question of 59.426. Of course, he's still got a little bit of work to do, because Antonelli's setting a 159.013. Should it stay like this, Antonelli is on pole position for the start of the race. Tim Tramnitz, though, immediately snatches the top here in Group A. A purple final sector of 49.7 grants him at 159.361. And RHGP now with 2 cars in the top 2, because Stenshorn is second fastest, 64 thousandths between the front 2 as well. So the gap's thinner than a fly's eyelash as you look further up the order, and a massive 3.5 of the realm separating Rafael Camara and that of Martini Stenshorn as well, or that of Tim Tramnitz as well. Just under 3/10 of a second separating Camara and Stenshorn. You see Maya Verk there on our screens as well. Rafael Camara on the left-hand side. Stenshorn just coming out down the straight at Mistral. Tim Tramnitz not far behind him either. But again, the RHGP team back again, fighting it out. And all of them championship contenders as well. Camara still in the mix. He'll be looking to achieve big for his team at Prema. Esteban Masson having a better qualifying this time around as well. 5th fastest here currently for the Santalok driver. Victor Bernier also in the mix. 6th fastest here for MP Motorsport with Maya Verk as well. 2nd in the rookie in this group, with Stenshorn currently leading the rookie classification here in Group A, here in qualifying. The minute coming down now into the final minute, as the drivers look to cool down the tyres to get set for one last chance to dance now. And it's a 59.361 to beat as it stands. Andrea Kimi Antonelli is on pole for the start of the race this afternoon, but still there's an entire minute or so that can very easily change that fact. And now Stenshorn is going to make his way through the final corner out of turn 15 and head down the straight towards turn 1. 26 seconds on the clock. This will be his final lap. And down he goes towards turn 1. It's now or never for Martini Stenshorn. Tim Tramnitz currently holding on to the top spot with that early 159. Not quite enough to battle back against Antonelli, but this could be where it's all decided. And with mere seconds to go, the final lap's now fully underway, and Martini Stenshorn comes through on major mistake. I think he lost it slightly heading through the first chicane, and that will cost him, but he is 79 thousandths up. Esteban Masson as well. Stenshorn needs to try and marshal something, but Masson fastest of anybody in the first sector at 32.589. And unfortunately for Stenchon, I think he might have cost himself a lot of time on that lap, and I think he has a 32.949, which is nearly 0.4 of a second slower than that of Esteban Masson in 5th place. And also Masson going into the 36.8 in the middle sector as well, so he is really starting to tank it now. Kamara can't get close to him. Masson could be on the verge of French brilliance yet again, following Supreme Alessandro Giusti. We saw him do the same thing yesterday. Surely not Esteban Masson here in this qualifying session as we come down to the bitter end here. 79,000, remember his best time was a 59.717. If he keeps on chipping at this wood, needs a mighty 3rd sector to unseat Andrea Kimi Antonelli if he wants to take the top spot. Let's wait and find out as the Frenchman makes his way out to the final corner. He went fastest in the second collective test, comes up towards the line. Esteban Masson, P1 here in this session, but not enough to get past Andrea Kimi Antonelli. It's enough for the front row, but can he keep it? Tim Tramnitz is still out on track, has found 36.873 in the second sector. Not faster than Esteban Masson, though, clearly enough, as we now see them make their way through the final realms here on this track. Martinius Stenchon into the pits. That first sector issue definitely causing him problems. Tim Tramnitz also crosses the line. He can't improve and go any higher than second fastest. Esteban Masson, everybody, fastest here in Group A, but not as fast as Andrea Kimi Antonelli. The Italian has done it again. Yet another pole position here for him, but Esteban Masson, the fastest man in Group A, confirmed here. Provisional results, of course. Tim Tramnitz second, Martinius Stenchon third, Rafael Kamara in 4th, Maya Verk in 5th, with Owen Tangavello in 6th, Maceo Capietto in 7th, with Victor Bernier 8th, Roman Belinsky in 9th, Nikhil Bora 10th, as well as Joshua Dufek in 11th place, with Matthias Zagazeta 12th, Kirill Small in 13th, Giovanni Maschio in 14th, Enzo Scianti finishes 15th place. So there we have it. Stellar display. 16th place, of course, going to Ivan Klemenko, Niels Kuhlen in 17th as well to round off the rest of the order. We're going to look forward to going racing later on, folks. It's going to be Masson, but Antonelli on pole. Join us this afternoon for when we go racing. Goodbye.